Good afternoon, everybody. This is Lisa Ware, all on our best behaviour because we are being recorded. Can you mute yourself, Val? Right. All on our best behaviour. Lovely to see you all. A big thank you, by the way, to Mike Parnas, who I think did a cracking, super job last week, especially as he had to try and find the recording through the iCloud. Who knows what goes on there? But it was really good. So today, what I'm doing quite fast is I'm giving you all the top tips, the ones that I thought were really good from the Midlands Kick-Off. Now, Mike was there for sure. He's not on here at the moment, but Lindsay Benjamin also was there. There was Michelle Vince, she was there. There was quite a lot of us. It was sensational. I have to say, it's the one every year I book. I haven't missed a year, and it's because Stuart and Jaswan are just crackingly good at getting a lineup together. In fact, it was a full house. there was no seats available. It was just amazing, and the atmosphere was incredible. Listen, I know lots of people are watching the virtual. I'm watching a virtual one next Sunday, but I am going to say it's only what 2.5 hours, and I'm sorry, even if you sit in a watch party, it isn't quite the same thing as being there. It's like, here we are. This isn't for you, I know, but I love the Rolling Stones. I'm sorry. Seeing Mick Jagger at 70 odd 8, whatever he is, strutting his stuff on the stage in front of you is just magical. But watching it on the TV is not the same. That is the difference. And you can't pick up the atmosphere. And actually, I took a guest along. He's now joined. His name's Carolus. And to quote Michelle, considering he hadn't joined, he must have been the biggest shouter. Everything he thought was fantastic. And he said to us on the return journey home, he said, I never knew a conference could bring such joy. He said, how am I meant to sleep tonight now? And that honestly was his words. Well, that is amazing because he hadn't even joined. Isn't that incredible? So look, what I'm doing is giving you a very, very brief of, I wrote about 15 pages of notes. That'll give you an idea because it was just so damn good. And what I'm doing is giving you some bullet points of the top tips of the stuff that I feel can be very, very helpful. So, dear Danielle Bennett, senior group leader, went senior group leader last year, former teacher. Well, I wrote just a couple of little things down. And this was something that kept coming out. And you've actually seen me do a post about it. Results come from activity. If you do no activity, you aren't just parked like a car, you are actually going backwards. That's a fact. If you do nothing, it's not being still. You are actually effectively going backwards. And as I've put out to everybody yesterday, I had a saying I made up myself, which was, if you always do what you've always done, you will always get what you've always got. Okay? Because something has to change to make a difference. And I know none of us like change. We don't. We're all guilty of it. But the only thing is, staying in what we call the comfort zone doesn't help us. We have to try and take a leap and go into the adventure zone. So we've got to do some activity. That was a big thing she said. Her big number one thing was master the first 6 supporting appointments with a person. Get very, very good at it. Okay, because if you do, very quickly, you will then help somebody. This is the thing, this is the art of network marketing. It's called simple duplication. And what will happen, you will help somebody towards independence. Because I think there's an old Chinese proverb, something like, I can carry 1 on my back, but I can't carry 10. Something like that, similar. Now, I'm going to share with you all. There's a lady sat there. Her name's Elaine. Elaine I brought in just over a year ago. Elaine is got a very difficult situation. I hope she doesn't mind me saying, but she is needing a life-saving operation. She's in absolute agony, but she is still doing her business. And what she has done exceedingly well is help a lady get her first 6 customers. And that lady is now wonderfully doing her own appointments. Wonderful. And we're not just talking, you know, a couple of services, no cashback card. This lady understands the importance of multi-services, homeowners, cashback card, because they'll stay. So supporting, get good at supporting. Right, what do you do to get good? Well, actually, you have to do something. And I suggest get on your partner portals and jump on one of these trainings that's available. There's one all about supporting. Do you know what? That makes sense. In fact, I'll share with you, I have booked myself on 3 trainings now, all because of the Midlands Kick-Off. I've decided, yeah, I'm going to have some refreshers, because do you know what? We all learn by repetition. Okay. Danielle, this was a great note. She said, the fear of failure wasn't the thing that scared her. It was the fear of not trying her best. Well, actually, that's quite something. I think that's a really good point to take note of. Okay. Now, I am only taking some bullet points from each person because remember, we were there all day and I've only got half an hour. So, the incredible senior group leader, Ram Dat, who, of the whole network of 65,000 plus partners, last year supported on over 600 appointments. 600. I tell you what, that makes me feel, oh my God, Lisa, step up a gear girl. But what he's done is produce duplication, because now he hasn't got to do that, because he's got people that can do it. That's the art, to make ourselves inconsequential to our incomes. The worst thing for me each morning, and I know you know my modus operandus, I lay in bed with my phone first thing in the morning when I wake up. I'm looking to see what's happened the day before. I'm checking out all the promotions, who's done what. The worst thing for me to see is that I'm the only person supporting. I want to see supported appointments growing in that team. Then that means that's a good business. Yeah. So we've got to help people do this. Right. Interesting with our dear Ram. I remember him, and he started many, many years ago. And he parked his business at team leader, and he had 100 plus personal customers. He also had a yellow Mini, and he went on a cruise holiday. Then his own life, his own business took over, masses. And we're talking for a lot of years. We're talking for a serious number of years. And then the good old lockdown happened. And all of a sudden, his own business was futile. In fact, he was telling us how he was having to sell his business off bit by bit by bit, because it was never going to do anything. And then he found out by chance that he had this bank account, and in it was just over £17,500. And it was residual income for all the years he hadn't worked. Because as we know, if you have over 50 personal customers, you always get paid. And in fact, it was such an astonishing light bulb moment for him. Even though the money was physically there, and the bank manager said it was there, and it was coming from a company called Telecom Plus, trading as the utility warehouse, he still didn't believe it. So he rang up Partner Services, and he didn't know his login. He didn't know anything. So bit by bit, it all had to be done. And to his astonishment, yes, it was real. And he thought to himself, gosh, I ought to get this going. Now, hear what he did. He got himself on loads of virtual trainings. Big tip there. We're talking a seriously clever businessman, but he went on a load of trainings and he kept going on them. And then all of a sudden, he got the gist of this and he realized how clever it was. He keeps calling this a world-class business. He says it is. It's absolutely astonishing. And you can do it from your home. and I've done the odd appointment with a nice glass of red Merlot at the side. I mean, you know, you don't get working any better than that. So what's his top tips for mentoring and coaching? Mentoring and coaching is the key to growth. Number one, find yourself a success buddy. Please do that. Make a note of that. Two, amalgamate yourself with successful people. Now, I hear this over and over again. They say that we tend to be the average of the 5 people that we hang around with. Who do you hang around with, guys? Think about it. Yeah. Who are the people that you're hanging around with? That's important. And make sure you spend 1 hour a week doing a company training. So every week without fail, he's on a company training. Can you honestly say that that's what you do at the moment? If you don't you think it would be a good idea? Because some of them are only half an hour and they're free, for crying out loud. He says, recruit, support, gather customers and attend more events is his key thing. Okay, so that was Ram. Now you're probably thinking, gosh, is that all he said? No, he didn't. He said loads, but I am sort of praising this. Now, incredibly, I don't know if any of you are aware, but late last year, our phenomenal, Steve Critchley hit the top rung of the ladder. He is now a 5-star NNL. It doesn't go any higher. What does that mean? Wait till you hear these figures. Oh, it means his business, that's everyone within his business, turns over 1.5 billion a year. 1.5 billion. I was proud at mine at 48 million, but his is 1.5 billion. Crikey. He earns 1 million a year in passive reoccurring income. We call it residual income. 1 million a year. I don't know if you've worked it out, guys. It's just over £86,000 a month. How many people are even earning that a year? Okay. Yeah. And that works out every single minute in every single hour of every single day. He's on £1.80 a minute. So as Chris said, he worked out that when he goes to the bar to buy a round of drinks, by the time he's come back, he's earned more than it costs for the round of drinks. That's quite phenomenal, isn't it? Now, Steve, I think, knows a thing or two about doing this business. He's been in the industry 32 years. He is my mentor. He is the person that if he says, jump, Lisa, I say how high, and I mean that. I think I'd be a bit daft not to listen to his advice, okay? He talks about Jim Rohn, and Jim Rohn has become my guru too. Jim Rohn says you're only broke when you've got no ideas. That's pretty good stuff. And then Steve says people are either a warning or an inspiration. I want you to think about people in your life. Who are the people that inspire you for better? And are there any people that possibly are a warning? Maybe it's spend less time with those people. Yeah. Your mindset is everything. Whatever you focus on, you will probably get that. So if you're focusing on what's on the TV, and God forbid you watch the news, you're going to have a pretty poor mindset. Yeah. You want to focus on some good stuff. Ignore the dream stealers, he says. They're out there. Have you ever done anything and somebody's gone, oh, no, da-da-da. Yeah, I get it. I get it happen. You've got to have a good mindset to keep going. What's important? Health, being happy, and having more than you need coming in each month. That's what he says makes for a great life. He used to say having double what you needed coming in. Well, actually, if you've got more than you need coming in, that's what I call financial peace. And if you've got financial peace, do you know what? Other things fall into place. Yeah. Yeah, what you focus on is what you'll get. True. So what have I written here to share with you all? Oh, here I am. I'm making that statement. Lisa is focusing on national group leader. I've now put it in and said, right, it's going to be done by Power Up. Even though there's still stuff to do, but I'm going for it. Okay. So I've declared it. That's one of the things you've got to do. If you don't declare it, actually, you're half-hearted. And I agree with him. Personal development is critical. Please, TV is garbage. We all know that, don't we? Yeah. And here's a great saying. The magic you're looking for in your business is in the activity that you are not doing. Ooh, there's a pincher. He recommends a couple of books. Here they are. I've read this a few times now. Brilliant. It is by George Campbell and Jim Packard. It's The Consistency Chain. All right. I can honestly recommend it. Absolutely brilliant. And then he also recommends Owning Your Life by Paula Pritchard. And I would go another one and saying Recruiting Made Simple. Oh, what's happened here? Can you all see me? Our video stopped. What happened there? There we go. Sorry, guys, you didn't see that. There we are. Recruiting Made Simple. Apologies, folks. I don't know. I must have accidentally clicked. Okay. Right. So, who was the next big shot that stood on the stage and was worth listening to? I mean, there were loads, but I'm now going to share somebody phenomenal. I've got all his books. He's written 3 and I've read them all. I've got them in abundance. In fact, I bought about 200 of them, and a few years ago, I gave them out to my team. There's a big mistake, guys. Don't give stuff out for free. People don't appreciate it. I've learned that one hard. Actually, bring value to it. Okay, bring value. Either lend it and ask for it back and ask them what they like best, or let them pay the price for it, because they'll probably read it if they actually pay for it. So I learned from some of my mistakes. So the next big person was Stephen Longworth. And he says he's still in it because he wants to give back his expertise. He and Steve don't need to work anymore, but they say study winners and champions if you want to be a winner. Doesn't that make sense? Yeah. Build trust, rapport, and relationships with the winners. So in my early days, one of the things Steve used to say all the time was, Lisa, go to everything and anything and go up to somebody that you've heard is doing well and ask them for a top tip. When we used to opportunity presentations and all sorts. At one time, I was all over the country. I was always going to something. I think the problem with this Zoom lark is made people lazy. People that used to travel don't travel anymore, and I see that over and over again. I see people not turning up for the Bournemouth Buzz. God, why not? It's on your doorstep. It's only a half an hour, an hour's journey at the most. Really important, because it's often the relationships when you're there that can make the difference, and you can find a success buddy. So what else did he say? When it comes to recruiting, prospecting, he says, would your approach work on you? Think about that. There's an interesting one. Don't stop asking, keep going. Do you remember how to do it? Don't sell, just be good and ask people how life is at the moment. They'll soon tell you, and you'll soon find a good reason to offer them perhaps a UW story to send them or something like that. Be powerful in our belief. And this is one that I've always taken on board from Steph. No one wants to be part of your test. If you are a ditherer and you show any doubt, I promise you, they won't take up as a customer and they won't take up as a partner if they think you don't know, you're worried, oh, is this any good? You've got to have some belief. How do you get belief when you're new? It's easy. You take it from somebody else. You transfer their belief. So in the early days, I used to look at the big shots, Steph, Steve, Wes, Robin, and I used to think to myself, well, I haven't got the time span, I haven't got the knowledge, but these guys are really showing me it can be done. If they can do it, why can't I do it? So it's called transference of belief, really powerful. Okay. As he says, no one wants to be part of your test. You need to support people to grow your partner base. Yeah, we're hearing that again. This is about not you doing lots. It's about, I love this. This is Robin Brooks. A lot of people doing a little creates a lot. That's what this business is about. A great line. A lot of people doing a little creates a lot. And what was Steph's great serendipity moment? What we call the sliding door moment? Well, it was with somebody from America and a very little man, a tiny man. Now that's interesting because Steph's not that tall. So this must have been a very tiny man. And I don't say that badly. He says, when the student is ready, somehow the teacher appears. And this man said to him, you must change your mindset. And this man said to him, big man. So he was little, this man. Big man, you want to make more money? Are you prepared to do what it takes? Don't look back, left or right, in your first year. I'd say that was, in other words, focus and say, doesn't matter, the naysayers, whatever, go forward. And I wholly agree with that. The other big thing to say is, please, even if you are doing this part-time, because many are, don't treat it like a hobby. Treat it like a proper business, because it is one. If you treat it like a hobby, you'll get hobby money. Can I tell you, I put my hands up, learn from my failure. My first 2 years, I treated this like a hobby. I'm sorry, but one customer a month is not treating it like a business. What happened? After 2 years, my residual income was £35 a month. Is that worth shouting about? Really? Yeah. The crazy thing is, in the next 6 months, when I focused, my mindset was, even though I was still working full time, all of a sudden, I was able to somehow miraculously do more because actually the desire was there. It's all about that, the mindset. When you decide that you want to be successful, in fact, I've had people say to me, each time they've interviewed somebody that's successful, most of them have said it's when I decided that I wanted to make this work. Otherwise, you are treating it like a test. Okay. So, what's fear? Fear is false evidence appearing real, and loads of us have it. At this moment, I am having to use all my personal development in a different format for my dear mum, who's lost her husband after 57 years. And she's terrified of even going out of her home. And all this stuff that I've learned, I'm saying to her, I said to my mum over a cup of tea last week, Mum, all the things you fear are false evidence appearing real. And she looked at me startled. I said, because actually when you do step out from the comfort zone, you usually find it's never as bad as you ever imagine. And I think, I didn't know it, but all this stuff is going to be very, very useful this next year for my mum. And I'm going to help her. Don't worry about what people think. Honestly, what is it Steve Critch says? What other people think of me is none of my business. That's a good one, isn't it? Yeah. And Steph says you're either moving forwards or backwards. There's no such thing as standing still. Yeah. Actually, Here's the analogy, guys. If you're learning to drive, you don't go forward in your lessons in a parked car. Even when you don't know what you're doing, that instructor makes you drive, doesn't he? This is the same thing, the same principle. And here it is, the basics. Do you have a list? Do you actually have a list? Do you adapt the list? Do you make notes on the list? Is that where you make your calls from? If you haven't got a list, you haven't got a business. And then the last thing of all that Steph imparted to us, what if it did work for you? Wow. There you are. What if it did work like it's done for me? Do you think, guys, that I'm glad I put the effort in those years ago for all the time that I've had to have out of recent? Very pleased. Because here's the big one. I'm afraid regrets weigh tons. Yeah, there we go. So what else? Well, there was an amazing guy. His name is Kevin Hunt. He's an SGL. Kevin's been in a lot of years. Oh, he's got 50,000 plus group customers. I've got a good idea how much he's earning because there's me on 25,000. Oh, it's called good money. He says another thing. He says time does not issue refunds. Oh my gosh, what an astonishing statement is that? Profound or what? How are you spending your time? Wisely or not? Don't have doubt, have faith. Look at the people that are doing well and follow it. Stick around and keep doing it. I'm astonished at how quickly people give up. It's just nuts. It really is nuts. And the big one, I've known this for years, dig your well before you become thirsty. How many people you hear over and over again, oh, I lost my home. I didn't know it was going to be that bad. The same wind blows on us all, Jim Rowan says. The winds of change, the winds of politics. We're all subject to what's going on. It's how we prepare ourselves that matters. Right, I'm just going to, there's so much, I can't do it all justice, I really can't, but I'm going to pick up on a gentleman called John Gamble Pugh. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think he must be in a sort of part of the business which emanates from a different angle. Senior group leader Caroline Taylor interviewed him, and he came out with some corking tips for us all. He says he leads with recruiting. He uses the UW opportunity and stories. So he works, his whole principle is recruit, recruit, recruit. People that want to earn an extra income. Because he said if they don't, generally speaking, they will fall back and say, oh, well, I don't mind saving some money. A different twist, a totally different twist. Yeah. He invites people to a Zoom call and then basically does the presentation. Isn't that what we do? Yeah. Because we shouldn't be thinking, oh, I want to get another customer. If that's the way your mindset is, it's wrong. It should be, I'm showing somebody something that is a whole thing. It's about making money and saving money. And I'm just going to show them and then they can decide what's right. Yeah. Because I tell you what, I'm always surprised how many times people turn around and at the end, and I say to them, right, so what's best for you? Is it saving some money as a customer, making as a partner, or both? And they astonish me how many people say both. But it's the way that you do that presentation that matters. He says he attends job fairs. Is that something you've ever done? Could be worth a go. He cultivates long-term strong relationships because actually this business, I've been told from the very beginning, this isn't a network marketing business. It's actually a business about building relationships. And from those relationships, funny enough, comes people that want to save and make money. And if you get the gist of that, then you're being real and you'll get real customers that stay for years. In fact, today, Juan's been witness in amongst the things we've done, how the calls I have come in, they're people that have been with me 17, 18 years, and they treat me, I'm just another one of their circle of friends, and they've got another referral for me. I've had one today. It's just a given. Lisa's going to do it. And I get people ring me up, as somebody did as well, someone else today, been with me 19 years as a customer, probably referred me about 24 times. There isn't a family member that isn't signed up. And he rings me up for information about what mobile phone handset could I recommend? Do I know any good companies to get them cheap? This isn't about UW. I'm somebody that he kind of takes on board as somebody that knows people that know people. Can I just share that with you? That's called network marketing. Network marketing is building relationships in the business with people all around you that see you as somebody that's pivotal, that knows a thing or two, or knows people that knows people. And that's what this is about. They call it in BNI, give us gain. You will refer other people to them. And in turn, what will happen at some point, karma takes place. And all of a sudden, you become somebody that they refer back to. That's what this is about. Okay. Learn from others. And then he talks about, here we go again, teach to teach, duplication of skills, supporting. Get better at referrals, guys. Do you know what? You only get referrals if you actually, people are confident in what you've presented to them. All right, that's when it comes. And you don't have to coerce it. Believe me, you don't have to sit there, put the screws in their hands, saying, come on, give me a name, give me a name. I don't do that. Never have done. In fact, a few weeks back, does anyone remember Leon Warner was talking about, he didn't go in and out the door in 20 minutes. Actually, he was often there a couple of hours because the first 20 minutes was building rapport. And it's in that time of genuinely finding out about someone, caring about someone, that's when the referrals will come. He says to them, he asks them, is it okay to send friends a text message? Their friends. Okay, so if they're happy, could he send them a text message on their behalf? Now, that one takes a bit of confidence, okay, but you can ask it. And he says that his top tip is be consistent and follow up like a ninja. Right. Mr. Barris has always said the fortune is in the follow-up. And Mr. Barris has also kindly always admitted he knows that often follow-up is not something he's been good at. But if you bother to follow up, and believe me, I've had some people I've followed up 5, 6 times before finally they've come over. That's really, really important. There is a gentleman in the business. His name is Peter Westwood. He's a team leader. I knew him for possibly 10, 11 years in business networking. He was at my Bournemouth Breakfast Club. And I offered him this opportunity loads of times. I can't even remember how many times. And then finally, the timing was right. We hear this, don't we? The timing was right. And he joined. He was very, very coachable, teachable. He got himself, he's sitting on about 168 personnel, if I remember right. He's a team leader. He's got a team that is growing without him. He did what he wanted to do. He got his success. He buggered off to Spain. He plays golf all the time. He lives out there permanently. But he's got this wonderful passive income coming in. And he says it's 3 times the amount of his state pension. How cool is that? That's success, isn't it? You know, not everybody wants to get to the top, and that's fine. So, guys, look, I've even missed out stuff because obviously there were about 5 hours, and that was half an hour. I hope some of that was of real hope, good to you. Okay, I can always take some more of it, and I could delve deep. But can I just say to you, there's the Cardiff kick-off. That's next week. I know some of you are going to it. Please, please, the very, 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 very least, get yourself with some people on a watch party. I'm doing it here next Sunday. I'm laying on a nice lunch, nibbles, as I do. And I've got a couple of people are saying they're coming round already. If you're not in a watch party, come and join me. I know people that live miles and miles away can't. I'm appreciative of that. Okay. But we'll be here 4:30 next week, same time, same place. You can see 2 chats. What's it say? Oh, somebody told me my camera. Sorry about that, what I did. This is live. I make mistakes. I'm proof you don't have to be terribly good to do this. See you all next week, guys. Hope that was helpful.
Thank you, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you.